What is the one thing that you do to get the most out of every single day? I've done the standard things. I meditate in the morning, I have a good breakfast, I don't check my phone when I wake up, I have my to-do list and I have a whole system for it. But until I discovered this one thing completely changed how I look at each day and getting the most out of it. What's up, everybody? You are watching another Unstoppable Sunday. Unstoppable Sunday, we spent asking ourselves two questions. Number one, where am I? And number two, what do I do next? All of this is around figuring out how we can live a more proactive life and accomplish all our goals. So you know, and I know very well, if you're a subscriber to this channel, if you're not, hit the subscribe button, that I like to live a really proactive life. And the whole channel is about how to live a more proactive life so you get the most out of every day and you can actually accomplish your goals from the year. And because of that, I obsess over how I run every single day. Sundays are all about looking ahead 7 days and figuring out the plan. But even every single day, I obsess over my to-do list, my calendar. I obsess about waking up in the morning and not looking at my phone. I obsess about meditating. I obsess about having a really great breakfast and some tea. Tea is super important for me in the morning. I obsess about all of these things. But even with all those things, I used to still come home certain days not feeling like I did enough and not even sure if I did enough. I did a lot of things, I checked off a lot of things, but I didn't quite know, did today matter? I constantly struggled with this until I discovered this one super simple trick that I now incorporated into my morning routine. I started to do this one thing every morning and it has completely changed how I think about my days. What I do is simple. I take one of these index cards, and you know I love my index cards. The fun story is these index cards and writing on them started with this one trick, and then it has trickled into all these other ways I use index cards kind of pretty much all over the place. So I take an index card in the morning, I'm enjoying my morning tea, and the thing that I do is I just write the date, so today is November 1st, and then I basically create 3 boxes. So box number 1, box number 2, and box number 3. So I do the 3 boxes and I try and keep a template of these, and what I do is I think about, forget my calendar for a second, forget my to-do list for a second, forget all the pressing things for a second. I think about today and I think about what are the 3 big things that I want to just punch in the face today? What are the 3 big things that when I come back home at the end of the day, if I see them crossed off, those 3 big things, I will have felt like A, I had a great day, and B, I'm getting closer to accomplishing my goals for the year. And so today is November 1st. For me, there's 3 really big things that I want to take care of. I actually want to make sure that I catch up with my old team. We have a big employee orientation going up. Number 2, I want to make sure I plan next week's offsite. I have a big team offsite going on next week, so I want to make sure there's a good plan around that. And the 3rd thing I want to do is make sure I catch up with my parents. So those are my 3 big things. Now I have my meetings, I have my to-do list, but to me personally, for my career, for my business, for myself, for my team, these are the 3 big things I want to make sure I cross off. And what I do is once I write this down, I'm gonna go get dressed, I usually put it in my shirt pocket. And that way, whether it's in my shirt pocket, jacket pocket, in my notebook, whatever it is, it's easily accessible and it's there in a giant reminder. So that every meeting I'm looking at, every time I've got 5-minute break, I can look at this and be reminded, what are the 3 big things I really want to punch in the face today? So at the end of the day, I feel like today mattered. And I know it's a super simple trick, it doesn't seem that crazy, but honestly, it's super powerful. There are times in my life where it's not that hectic, so I won't follow this. And there are times in my life where everything's so crazy and I'm feeling so overwhelmed and I do follow this. So you don't always have to use it, but when you do use it at the times where things are crazy in your life. And I've been using it for years and it's super powerful and it just changes how you think about every minute of the day because you're constantly reminded of how you want the day to end, how you want it to all come together, and you constantly course correct. So One upside of this is when I'm going into a meeting, or I have a meeting later on in the day, and I look at it, and I look at my list and I say, you know what, this meeting has nothing to do with my goals for this week or for today or for this year. Maybe I should just renegotiate this meeting. And so I go in and say, hey, do we really need to have this meeting? How important is it? How important is it to have today? So I can course correct and focus on the things where I'm spending the day the way I want to spend it. So there you have it. Those are 3 things. And one quick thing, you may be wondering why 3, why not 4 or 5? I've tried that. I've tried 5 things. I've tried 6 things. I always end up accomplishing 3. I don't know what it is. 3 seems to be a good number where it's not too much and not too little, and you think about it holistically. And oftentimes that ends up being 2 business and 1 personal. But those are my 3 big things for today, and I'm gonna go crush today knowing that these are the things that are important to me. And in the back of my mind, I'll constantly remember it because I wrote it down. And anytime I forget, it'll be a constant reminder because it'll kind of pop out, or I'll feel it in a meeting where I'm grabbing for my phone. It just works really well. So that's my tip for today. That's how I get the most out of every day. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more of these, we do this every Sunday, just hit subscribe. And lastly, if you're looking to live a more proactive life, follow us at Unstoppable and sign up below. There's a link for our Unstoppable Life Planning Guide. It teaches you all the things that we know about how to live a more proactive life. Thank you for joining, and remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life, but yours needs to be unstoppable.